Thank you, Madam Speaker, and the honourable member for Barry-Innisfil. To the Canadian parents of Kevin, there's nothing that one can say to ease their pain and their loss. But I think we do ourselves a disservice to direct that anger to the settlement with Omar Khadr. I've come to believe, and I don't think I've heard any other member of Parliament say this in this place, but due to the reporting work of Sandy Gorosino and the National Observer, which they published photos that were taken by the U.S. military, and that was, of course, an exchange between combatants. It wasn't conventionally what anyone would describe as terrorism. It was combatants, and there's no question Omar Khadr was taken by his father into a war zone. We can say everything we can about how unbearably unacceptable what his father did to him was, but he was taken into that zone. There isn't good evidence that would stand up in a Canadian court that he threw the grenade. I think there's a very large chance he didn't, and the photos in the piece in the National Observer showed him under mountains of rubble at the moment when that grenade was thrown. So we have, I think, very large reasons to doubt that his confession, it's not as though his confession for sleep deprivation was for something he actually did, but quite plausibly for something he didn't do, for which he was not getting the help of his government when he was in a foreign prison and being tortured. So there are many layers to this, but I wonder if my honourable friend from Barry-Innisfil would feel differently about what he'd said if he thought for a moment that it was quite possible that the person described in this motion as a convicted terrorist was in fact convicted in a military court for something he didn't do.
Member for Barry-Innisfil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the honourable member for her question. I think she raises an important point here. There's no question that the courts have found that Omar Khadr's rights had been violated. The issue that we're talking about with respect to this particular payment was the fact that Omar Khadr filed a civil suit against this government. And what this government did, they filed a suit against government, and what this government did was not allow that civil suit to play out to its final verdict. It effectively, in my opinion, rolled over and gave Omar Khadr a settlement to which he could potentially have not been worthy of had it gone through the entire process of the civil court. And so I think the Liberal government did a disservice, Madam Speaker, to Canadians by doing this, and they certainly opened the door for other cases, as we've seen subsequent to the Omar Khadr case. Thank you, Madam Speaker.